Please tell me who you are and what you're doing here.
Sure. My name is Winslow Strong, and I'm here kind of in two roles. First of all, I'm the organizer for Quantified Self in Zurich. We're a young group there. We just started in the fall. So as an organizer in Europe, I was invited to come attend, and of course I was interested to. In the other role, I run a website. It's called Biohack Yourself. So this is using this term biohacking, which you may or may not be familiar with. But the basic idea is to optimize your biological function so that you can kind of achieve what you hope to achieve in life. That could be happiness, career success, or whatever you want, really.
Yeah. And for that you need to log or
I see the Quantified Self tools, the technology, as very useful towards improving the way you function. So it could be improving the way you think, and for that you could make measurements. You could wear around one of these brainwave monitors. Yeah. So this type of data can give you rapid feedback on whether what you're doing is working. And if it is, you can keep doing it, or maybe even try to do better. And if not, you can make changes.
Are you logging anything yourself?
Yeah, I'm tracking some things. So some things are daily. I mean, basic things like weight. I track my body temperature, track my blood pressure maybe once a week. And then other things depend more on what I'm doing if I'm running an experiment. So recently I was a vegan, so eating no animal products for about the last month. So for that I took a lot of blood work before I started, and I could use some Quantified Self tools to do that. So now there's a company that mails you a kit. You can prick your finger and leave 5 drops of blood on a little piece of paper, a collector. This company is called Talking 20. And they'll give you all types of interesting information from your blood, like your hormone levels, vitamin levels, and like cholesterol profile. So I took that before, I took it afterwards, and when I receive the data, I'll be able to see what kind of effect that diet had on my health.
So you don't know yet?
No, I don't know yet.
And what do you feel? Because you feel things yourself as well.
Yeah, right. So I was, of course, paying attention to this also.
What do your feelings tell you?
Yeah, the two most kind of prominent things I noticed were my sleep was not very good during this period, and I can't think of any other reason that might explain why. And on the other hand, my mood was higher than average. So I was in a good mood, which is especially strange given that my sleep was not so good.
Yeah.
So that was surprising to me. Yeah.
So you're anticipating the concrete outcome now.
Yeah. So I think both are worth looking at and paying attention to. Like subjectively, how do I feel? And then actually the data that's kind of beyond our observations, like the stuff going on our blood. Like I have no idea. We have to measure it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is the fact that you do this, that you measure things inside your body, things that I don't know anything about because I don't measure, doesn't that also make you very self-conscious?
It can sometimes, depending on how you do it. And then another question is it a good self-consciousness or a bad? Yeah, and I think, sometimes I've probably given myself too much feedback, and that it can become stressful, actually. Yeah. So I think it's different for different people. Some people might find it stressful to weigh themselves every day, whereas other people just appreciate the feedback and, decide, well, that way I can make adjustments in how much I eat kind of more rapidly. For me, I guess, usually I prefer to know things rather than not know them. And I don't think it stresses me out too much. But
And by knowing certain things, do you know the whole... Well, do you know it all then? For example, when you weigh yourself and you're a certain... You weigh something, and that can be fat or it can be muscle.
Right.
So, but when you weigh yourself, you only know what you weigh, but you don't know if it's the good or the bad.
Right. So even the technology is helping us with that now. So there's a scale that will estimate your fat percentage.
Yeah.
So I use that scale. So that's worth something. It's not perfectly accurate, but that is a good point. But yeah, I mean, some of these things that we measure are not what we would call primary endpoints. So in the research, this is what they call it, the actual thing we care about. They're kind of only proxies. They're things we use to approximate the actual thing we care about. And it's the same when you measure your blood and you look at cholesterol. What we actually care about is not dying of heart disease, not having a stroke, not having a heart attack. But these intermediate values, these give us some indication of risk. They're certainly not perfect, but...
And what's your purpose with all these experiments and all this measuring? What do you want to achieve?
I mean, personally, I've always had some desire to improve my performance and improve my happiness also. And I think that paying attention to what you do, for example, exercise, what types of food you eat, and yeah, even taking things like, well, should I have 1 cup of coffee a day? Should I have 2? Which one allows me to perform better? Or I might feel better having 2, but my performance might be better having 1. So these type of nuanced questions the quantified self technology helps you address. And for me, it's kind of a personal passion. I'm just interested in it. But then I decided to start a website to help spread what's worked for me, and some of what the research says has worked for many people, to spread kind of the knowledge so that others can benefit, and if they're so inclined.
So this website, is it visited a lot, and what are the reactions?
Yeah. Well, it's pretty young, so I officially started it in the fall, and yeah, I mean, we're getting there. I guess we have over 100 visitors a day, 100 uniques a day, which, I mean, for me is like thrilling, because I don't know, it's nice to know that you write something and it's at least touching some other people's lives. But I mean, I'd like to take it much bigger, of course.
And do people react?
Yeah. So we got some comments. Actually, here at this conference, about 3 people have approached me who have read my blog, and I, of course, didn't know them before. But it was really nice to know that some people in this community are reading it, and that they seem to have positive things to say. They felt there were at least some useful content on it.
So the blog, is it just about the measuring, or is it what sort of subjects does it touch?
Yeah, so it's pretty broad. So I want to cover anything that people would find useful towards kind of optimizing their performance, health, and happiness. So that could be quite a large array of things, but I am kind of focusing on technology and on scientific research. So for one example, for this vegan self-experiment I did, I measured a number of things before, after, and during. So I quantified them, and I kind of provided a template for how, if someone else wants to do any dietary experiment, they could at least look at what I measured and get some ideas that they might want to measure these things also. And then sometimes I review scientific research as it pertains to perhaps longevity, which I think is maybe an underknown and underappreciated aspect of health. So yeah, it's pretty diverse.
Yeah. On a broader level, why do you think a quantified self is important?
Yeah, good question. It's important to different people for different reasons. For me, I'm most interested in the way that it can tighten feedback loops. So, all of us kind of strive for things in life, and like I said, it could be health, happiness, or achieving an impact in the greater community. And to know if we're succeeding in these things, we need feedback. It doesn't always have to be quantified feedback, but when it is quantified feedback, then we have tools from statistics to help us draw meaning from this. And in some sense, it's more precise and more objective. So, I see quantified self. I guess one of the most important aspects of it is that it really empowers the individual to make improvements on their own, and to innovate and to improve themselves and their performance and their health. Because you can buy these own technologies and you can use them in a personal way. You don't need to rely on like a doctor or a healthcare system saying it's okay to measure your blood pressure every week. Most would not say, oh, we're not going to pay for that. But you can just buy a device and you can measure it at home as you wish.
Are there any trends you notice?
Trends, yeah. I think a lot of people are in the quantified self movement who don't know it. I think there is a trend towards more measurement, more quantification.
It's becoming more mainstream.
I think it is.
Yeah.
But there are still many people I meet who quantify something. They measure maybe how often they work out, or maybe sometimes they measure what they eat, but they don't know of this movement, and they don't know that there are a lot of other people who are trying to do similar things. So I try to get the word out a little bit. I try to bring this up in conversation when I can, and introduce people to the idea.
Because you want the movement to grow.
I do want it to grow, but I mean mainly because I think that it kind of is a resource for people who already are interested in taking advantage of some of the things it can offer. So it's like a tool that I think would help them if they knew about it, and so I try to help them know about it.
Where will it go? Where are we heading for?
Yeah, good question. Hard to say. I mean, in the immediate future, I see one of the biggest impacts being in healthcare, of course, where we kind of shift from the mindset of just treating disease as it develops when it's detected to keeping healthy people healthy. This I'm passionate about, and I believe we will achieve this, and I believe all these technologies will play an important role in that.
Yeah, but do you foresee a future where everyone wears all kinds of wristbands and sensors and or do you think it will go a different way?
Yeah, I do see that in the future.
That everyone wears.
Everyone will be augmented in some way. Not only will it be these exterior things like this band,
yeah,
but it will even be implants in our blood to monitor our blood in real time.
Do you think people want that?
No, there will be people who don't, but there will be people who do want it. Yeah, I mean, I think different people will draw a line at different points. Like some people might want their blood to be monitored, but never want anything in any way like interfering or interacting with their thoughts directly. And you know that's a reasonable point to draw a line. But other people will want to get as close to technology as they can, including perhaps directly communicating it with it if they can. So, you know, I think it will go in many different directions. And
is there a line you will draw yourself, you think?
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure. I am very wary about anything that kind of messes with my mind. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I need to kind of. For me, I am kind of conscious of safety issues, and I would want to see that something has been plausibly demonstrated to be safe before I just make myself a guinea pig for it. But I don't know. I have a hard time articulating a very clear boundary that I can say. I certainly would not go beyond that. No, I'm not sure.
No, it sounds like if you know it's safe, that you're willing to go really far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I think it's a type of personal evolution where you can kind of grow in some ways, and you can maybe become more than you were. And to me, that's fascinating. That's part of like the journey of life, part of the excitement.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.